It's brought to us by Colonial Hyundai. Shop online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com. Colonial Hyundai, the fast, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai. Good morning, Eliot.
You know, considering I smoked you in that presidential debate we had at the station, I wouldn't be so sure that you would have a better chance than I would.
All right, here we go. Here's the question. Did you get your feet in the Oval Office the way I did? Yes or no? Of course, we know the answer is no, but answer the question.
I did not, no.
Right.
When were you in the Oval Office?
Listen, Hammer got connections, all right? Here's what Young Hammer pulled, and I did pull this. Outside the Oval Office, rope. Took my hands, grabbed the rope, put my feet inside the room to say I stood in the Oval Office while leaning back and holding the rope.
Weasel move. Oh, totally.
Both feet in the Oval Office. Stood in the Oval Office!
I wouldn't say you stood in the Oval Office in that instance.
I leaned in it and grabbed the rope so I wouldn't fall over. All right, Ellie, what was the experience like yesterday? What stood out to you?
It was a cool experience for sure. I mean, you know, I haven't stood in the Oval Office like you, but I also hadn't been at the White House since I think like third grade on a field trip maybe. So, wow. You know, the ceremony was on the South Lawn. You know, the experience of like walking into the White House and all that was very cool. So, you know, for the players that did go, it seems like they really did enjoy it. My count of the players that were there, I believe there were 32 players, which is, if you consider everybody that was invited, I mean, we're talking about 32 of, I would guess, you know, 75, 80 players. So definitely not well attended, I would say, by the players. But
where
overall,
were all those players, Elliot? Like the 32 players, it felt like I saw, I don't know, like Mekhi Becton there, Saquon Barkley. It felt like I saw like 7.
Yeah, but there's a lot missing.
I know, but he's saying there were 32 players. I didn't see 32 players.
Well, if you look at the photos, there's a bunch of players there.
I thought it was a lot of coaches.
Who came back, Elliot, who came back that's no longer on the team? I know Becton was there. Who else came back that's now currently not an Eagle?
Becton was there. I saw Britton Covey. I don't believe he signed with anybody else, but I would still at this point consider him a former Eagle. So I also think the reason is if you look at those photos, like there were 2 players I didn't even recognize that were on the roster at one point. So there was a fair amount, I would say, of like practice squad guys.
Got it.
That explains that
Elliot,
number.
Any interaction that you saw between Goedert and Sirianni, Goedert and Howie, Goedert and Lurie?
What did he feel like?
So we only saw the players when they walked like down a staircase from what I believe was the Oval Office to the South Lawn, and then during the ceremony. So I didn't really see much interaction between a lot of people because it was during the ceremony. But I definitely didn't see any interaction with Goedert, Sirianni, or Howie. That doesn't mean it didn't happen yesterday. I didn't see it.
Were you able to roam around? I saw at one point you had a video up on social media, like almost like when you're at training camp and you're doing a walk and talk. Yeah. And like you're just like the White House is behind you. Were you like just able to roam?
Well, so when I walked in through security, which was not easy, by the way, getting through security took quite a bit of time, as you might imagine. But
unlike Seltzer with the airplane, you actually made it to work. I just want to be clear. Seltzer had to deal with security, missed a day of work, and claims it's a vacation day.
No, you claim it's a vacation day.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He claims it's a sick day, which is outrageous. But that's
you ruined that there.
I did. I kind of butchered the line.
Well, I saw one tweet that said he has to work with you every day, so I feel like this every day should count as a vacation day. So. But no, I mean, once we're in the grounds, I will say it was surprising how much freedom we had. So when we walked in, we went to the press house briefing place, but that whole area there was just kind of open. It was funny. At one moment, I was doing a hit with the afternoon show, and we were arguing, I would say pretty loud, about where Jihad Campbell should play edge or linebacker. And behind me, there was some type of very serious like press briefing happening with some politician I didn't recognize. So, between someone yelling like Dallas sucks during the ceremony yesterday, there was definitely the Philadelphia feel, I guess I would say, at the White House.
So, Elliot, let's get to the team here. Now, post-draft, what happens? And I want to play some audio for you of Howie Roseman the other day. This was after the draft. This was Saturday, talking about Goedert. Here's something Howie said.
Does this change anything with Dallas and his future? Dallas is part of the team, as we speak. Obviously, as we go forward, we're going to continue to address things on this team, and right now, nothing further.
So, you know the deal, Elliot. No tight end was drafted. Marginal tight ends had been signed in March. What's going to happen with Dallas Goedert?
So I've covered Howie literally since I started covering the team. Howie's pretty much been the GM, and I have never heard an answer like that from Howie. I feel like every time Howie's asked about a player that we all think is going to go, it's always, he's a big part of the team. We value having him. That answer to me felt like public negotiating with Goedert to say we're probably going to move on from you. So I kind of think things might have shifted a little bit in what's going on. I think both sides entered the offseason under the assumption, because of what the Eagles wanted, that they were going to be splitting. Now that we've made it this far into the offseason, and clearly there's not the interest in Goedert around the league that either the Eagles or Goedert anticipated. If there was, financially, he would have been moved. I don't think this is about draft compensation. I think this is about a team willing to pay Goedert probably what he's looking for, or frankly, maybe even what he's making now. I don't know if Goddard's able to find the money he's making right now with the Eagles. So, I think at this point, just based off that, you do wonder if they would bring Goedert back on a very reduced salary, or if they've decided they're just going to move on. But that answer to me almost felt like a message to the Goedert camp, hey, we will still cut you or trade you if we have to.
Oh my gosh.
I agree. I think they've been publicly negotiating with him without admitting it.
What are we talking about in terms of the expectations from Goedert's side, the expectations from the Eagles side? His cap hit for this year, $11.7 million. And then
yeah, but I would ignore the cap hit, because the cap hit is not always a clear indication of what actually Goedert's going to make. So the issue here, I shouldn't say issue, but it's not about the cap number, it's about the cash. And this is something we've talked about all offseason, right? In terms of saving cash for next year and, the cash that they're outputting this year. So the thing with Goedert is, I believe he's going to make $14 million in cash this year, and none of that is guaranteed. So from the Eagles' perspective, if they were to move on from him and ignore the cap implications, just the cash, if they were to move on from him, they save that cash. So from Goedert's camp, they're probably going around the league seeing who will pay him 14. I mean, I'm sure they started hoping for more on a multi-year deal. And now from the Eagles' perspective, he's not finding that. They kind of hold all the cards at this point, because they could say, yeah, we'll have you back at $5 million, and then it's up to Goedert's camp to go and find a better offer than what the Eagles are willing to pay.
I mean, I know it's a hypothetical, Elliot, but you know him better than we do. You've covered him his whole career. Do you think he'd be a happy camper? I mean, let's be honest. Most people, if you're told to take a reduction of your salary by 50%, aren't going to be happy. Would he be happy? Happy enough?
Yeah, so I think he would. I know he has a good relationship with Sirianni, which I think would really matter in this instance. I mean, he's not going to spend much time around Howie Roseman during the regular season. And Dallas is also, I would say, one of the more popular players on the team. He's very close with, he's been here a really long time compared to a lot of players. So he's really close with a lot of the big name guys on the team. He's lived here for a long time. I know he really likes being here. So I do actually think he would be fine. Now, I'm sure, there will be moments when he's getting 2 targets a game for stretches where he thinks about it. But I think if he stayed here, it would be okay.
Elliot, do you think that the possibility exists, a real possibility exists, that Andrew Berry, the GM of the Cleveland Browns, would have had the wherewithal or the connection to the Eagles organization to move ahead of the Eagles to draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the draft on Saturday? How much validity do you give that report?
He might have thought that the Eagles would have done it. Now, obviously, he worked with Howie. He worked with the Eagles. He knows like how much they value the quarterback position. I just don't think they were going to take Shedeur Sanders. I don't know how you make that same mistake twice. Like, obviously, the Jalen Hurts pick worked out. Jalen Hurts is, in my opinion, the second best quarterback in the NFL. So you certainly can't call that pick a mistake. But I think the process of making that selection was a mistake. Like, it created a huge firestorm. It ended Carson's time here. I don't think they wanted that to happen when they drafted Jalen Hurts. And it worked out because Jalen ended up being a great quarterback. But I just don't see how this team would make the same exact mistake again. Because, by the way, as much of a distraction Jalen was locally initially, like just because of the whole quarterback thing, Shedeur Sanders would have been 10 times that. It would have been a national story. Jalen wasn't a national story. This would have been a national story. So I know they're the quarterback factory, but I do not believe they would have drafted Shedeur Sanders.
So, Eliot, no cornerbacks taken near the top of this draft by the Eagles that could have become a starter year one. So who are the 3 starting cornerbacks, and where is Cooper DeJean going to play?
Yeah, so Vic Fangio said this to, I believe, John Clark, maybe about a month ago, that he really likes Cooper in that nickel role.
Yep.
And as we saw in the draft, and as we've seen, Vic Fangio gets what Vic Fangio wants. Like he has that type of sway. So I do think you will see Cooper play in the nickel, but I also think it depends on like where they're at. I mean, sorry, what type of defense they're playing. I think when there's only 2 cornerbacks on the field, you will see Cooper on the outside. And then I think when they go to 3 cornerbacks, which will be the majority of snaps, Cooper will move to the inside. And at that point, you'll see either Keely Ringo or Adoree Jackson, as of now, be that outside corner.
The undrafted college kids that are coming in for the offseason program, are there any that are catching your eye? Have you had a chance to learn about any of these kids?
Who's the next Corey Clement? Who's going to be that guy?
Well, ironically, it is a running back. Now, I will say it's going to be really hard for these undrafted free agents to make the roster. Like, I like the running back they signed out of Florida, Montrell Johnson. You watch his YouTube, like he is very fast. He has breakaway speed. Like, he's very impressive to watch. It's just going to be hard to make it at running back. My favorite free agent they signed is actually out of Toledo, the safety Maxon Hook. First of all, he was roommates with Quinion, so he has that connection. We know that Nick Sirianni is very close with the Toledo head coach, which is, I would imagine, why they signed 2 players from Toledo as undrafted free agents. But Maxon Hook, to me, when I read his scouting report, it reminded me a lot of reading about Quinion, like a lot of the same things where it's, he's like an anticipation guy. Like, he'll sit back and he breaks on the football based off what he saw. And with Quinion, a concern coming into the NFL would be, or was, he played at Toledo. Is he going to be able to make those same type of jumps on the football? And we all saw he very much was able to. So I think Hook has like the potential to make the roster. The safety position.
Hook is still behind Lewis Seen right now. Eliot.
I mean, maybe. I mean, Lewis Seen, just in the way that Lewis Seen is
that for a fact.
Trust me, I know you're a Lewis Seen guy. Yeah,
they're competing for the same spot, essentially.
Yes, correct. They are competing for
further
the same
sign
spot.
that John's in a better mood since he's got a girlfriend. He makes Lewis Seen jokes now.
I think Lewis Seen's got a real
Ruben,
chance.
this guy has come alive. His face is just.
He's in a glow.
He's in a glow.
He's in the glow.
He's in the glow. The man's in love.
Luminous.
I love to see it. I love to see it.
Luminous.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Can you see it through the phone?
Can you see it on
Eliot,
YouTube?
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think you've been like dressing way better ever since. Like, you look fly every time I see you now.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, it's
I had
impressive.
no idea.
Thank
wow,
goodness.
that's a big deal.
Well,
It is.
Eliot's
You
like
look
a
nice.
fashionista.
Yeah, well.
That is what the people say. When I run for president, that'll be my slogan.
God.
What people
I
are
didn't
they?
realize that we were going to have a competition, not just with Jack this summer, but for president of the United States in, I don't know, a couple decades.
I'm thinking 2048.
Joe DeCamara,
Yeah.
Eliot
Well,
Shorr-Parks.
They're both competitions that'll never happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, there
But
it
that's
is.
the thing. You seem aware of that.
No, he won. Eliot
Joe
won,
doesn't.
Eliot won't win the nomination. Eliot, stay well, buddy.
All right, I'll talk to you.
All right,
guys
get out of
later.
here.
All right.
All right, I'm done with him.